Right.
continue the research of the shroud into the future. So any opportunity I have to speak to a younger audience, I do my best to inspire them, to let them know that this is a valid object that's worthy of study, and to do my very best to encourage them to follow their own hearts, and perhaps at some point in the future they can become valid shroud researchers themselves.
And also,
young groups is always a good thing.
Right, and you mentioned too, the shroud is based on creation, not evolution, and this is why we need positive change in this world. Because right now, all the negativity you mentioned of news media being negative, we need positiveness right now, and that's the problem too. Is that there's people out there that based on evolution, not creation, and that evolution is filled with hatred, and it's not good. It's making us not become positive positive people. Where as a shroud is, you see something good that came out of it.
Well, I think a lot of good comes out of the shroud to those,
yes,
not just to those of us who've studied it directly, but to people out in the world. Look, I mean, we've reached, I don't know, somewhere in the realm of 12 million people with the website. And although, we don't get the kind of traffic that, Twitter does or something, or Facebook, we get, very steady traffic. It picks up as the list season. Very good recently. We do have now our nonprofit, Sarah Inc. has a Facebook page, so we're trying to reach younger audiences through their smartphones and tablets, not just on, just through computers. We've readjusted our pages so that they're easier to view on a small screen smartphone or tablet. I think the goal is to reach as many people as possible and allow them access to this information upon which they can then base their feelings, their opinions, or in many cases, their faith.
Right.
And although my goal, obviously, I'm not a Christian, I'm not a missionary, I'm not a minister, or a priest, or a rabbi, my job is primarily to bring people up to date on the factual information that we have about the shroud, which, by the way, does support its authenticity. There are one or two things that were negative in that respect. Those have been sort of set aside and turned over. And the basic bulk of scientific evidence points to the authenticity of this piece of cloth. Of course, my experience and my background is photography and imaging. And the image on the shroud has properties that cannot be duplicated using photography or any form of artwork that we've ever discovered. There's depth information or spatial information encoded in the image that yields like a three-dimensional result. Normal photographs don't do that. Normal artworks don't do that. And so the shroud has unique properties, and I think its study is important. But I think it also, is important not just from a scientific point of view, which has been my focus, but also in my audience, of course, I speak to people of faith, and I think that people of faith on a regular basis, many accept the shroud and many reject it. And it's because of, I think, certain passages in the Gospels which people believe are taken literally, and perhaps that they're finding fault with the shroud, when in fact there's really nothing about the shroud that goes against either the Old Testament or the New Testament or the biblical accounts of what was done to Jesus. And for that matter, it's a proper and correct first-century Jewish burial cloth that meets all the requirements of the Old Testament in the Torah for a proper Jewish burial shroud for somebody of importance, which of course this man was. So in my mind, all the evidence, both scientific, historic, and even biblical,